This Minster FM debate will be available online and brought together representatives from non-political organisations to give their views on the success of the Lendal Bridge closure trial. Minster FM's news editor Kevin Larkin hosted the question time in the boardroom.
This debate is about bringing the key figures in York together to evaluate the 6-month experiment of the trial closure of Lendal Bridge. It's been very controversial, we've had a wide range of opinions on that, and hopefully this debate will bring those opinions together. Councillor Dave Merritt was there to answer criticism and state the council's case. Kate McMullen was there on behalf of Visit York, and she had concerns about the city's reputation.
We are extremely concerned about the levels of fines, and I think that's the issue that we really feel quite keenly, that York's reputation as a welcoming city has the potential to be marred by visitors getting home and finding out that they have been fined during their stay.
But First York's Ben Gilligan says it's improved their business no end, and it's good for bus passengers.
Yeah, I mean, we have, when you compare where we were a year ago, we're around 10% up on our city network and about 3.5–4% up on the park and ride. Now, obviously, there's lots of factors behind that. There's changes to fares and so forth, but we think it's probably a fairly good barometer of how the city's doing, because we generally find where bus networks are in decline, generally local economies are in decline, and conversely when bus networks are growing, cities are generally doing better. And I think you've got to bear in mind that sort of well in excess of 50% of the people who travel on our buses are actually coming to do shopping of some kind or another.
Godfrey Bloom, the controversial independent Yorkshire MEP, was here to represent the drivers' union on this occasion, and he had strong views as well.
If I was shareholder in a bus company, I'd see it that way. But what I would argue is that I don't believe that businesses, and particularly smaller businesses, are listened to enough in these things. And I would say whose family is dependent upon it, whose business is dependent upon it, who's put their life savings into a business, and we should be listening to these people, I would suggest, significantly more, with all due respect to other people around the table, we should be listening to them significantly more than I think we are.
And Susie Kaywood of the local Chamber of Commerce urged the council to stop now.
We have received overwhelming condemnation about this trial from both businesses and individuals, and not just in the City of York but also in the wider region. Particularly I was surprised, I suppose, to hear from businesses from the Scarborough area who can't get to the station. It just takes far too long to get to the station. They can get to York in 2 hours, and then perhaps it might take another hour to get to the outskirts of York, and then further on and then longer to get to their premises, which just frankly isn't acceptable.
I think we certainly recognise that the fines issue is a concern right across the piece, and it's something that we're going to have to address if we choose to make the trial into a permanent scheme. We have looked quite carefully at what people have been saying, and that will all be picked up in the final report. So we'll have to see what we can do in terms of reducing that problem if we are to make the scheme permanent. And I think we also need to, I think in fairness, we perhaps need to recognise, yes, some people may have stayed away in the initial period, but it actually seems to be settling down. And that might mirror the experience of Oxford, that undertook a similar type of measure in 1999, where, again, they had some mixed results in the first months, but within a year or so of them, in effect, taking out the major through route through the city centre, their city centre economy had recovered and has continued to grow subsequently.
So 6 months on, opinion is still polarised about whether or not the Lendal Bridge closure trial has been a success. You can find more of this audio online and also a full video interview with Councillor Dave Merritt as well.